Hi, okay, so I'm writing a video because I have not been posting. I will start off with that. I'm so sorry. I have no attention span and I forget about things. Basically, I think rather than covers, I'm probably just gonna be posting music that I make. Even if it's not good, I'm just like, I just need to start putting it out there because it's what I love. I probably will start posting film videos too because I love movies. But I'm writing a video on Pulp, which has grown to be one of my favorite bands over the past few months. I discovered them through a very long and extended story. Actually, I'll explain it. We're going back. I watched Scott Pilgrim in January. I watched it, I loved it, and it started a lot of trails. So Scott Pilgrim left me with three direct trails off into different fucking obsessions. The shortest one, I loved Kieran Culkin. Wallace Wells is literally me. I'm in love with Wallace Wells. Oh my god, he's literally, I'd heard of Succession. I was like, oh my god, Kieran Culkin's in it. So I watched Succession and I loved Succession. I've been thinking about Tom constantly. I don't know why. I think he was in one of my dreams, and now I've been thinking about Tom Wambsgans like this. And I don't know why. I love Tom and Greg's romance, and I kind of hate Logan. Even though everyone's like kind of a shithead. And also Adrien Brody's character. I can't. I'm banning myself. If I ever start talking about Adrien Brody, I don't need to be talking about him. I have problems having watched Asteroid City. I have issues and I have to sort through those. Wait, I think I watched Succession because Adrien Brody was in it. Like, I knew he'd show up. I've heard the show's good. Kieran Culkin's in it. But Adrien Brody might show up for like 2 episodes. And that means a lot to me. And he did. And he ate. I was like, live your truth, king. Eat it up. Manipulate. Girl boss and serve. Watch Logan pass out on the pavement. Besides Succession, Scott Pilgrim again. We're talking about Scott Pilgrim to get to Pulp, by the way. This is all connected. I promise it's all connected. I promise it's all intertwined. I was like, oh my god, who directed this? Because I started getting into directors because I was like, oh my god, Christopher Nolan. Woo! Inception, oh my god! The Dark Knight. Mid. I mean, wait, okay. Don't talk to me about Gotham. Don't talk to me about Gotham. I don't want to talk about it. Oh yeah, directors. Watched Last Night in Soho before I watched Scott Pilgrim because I'm an Anya Taylor-Joy stan. Watched one Doctor Who episode and I was like, oh my god, I literally love Matt Smith. And I watched Last Night in Soho and I was like, oh my god, this movie's really good. Don't talk about the CGI. I feel like there's a lot of things with Last Night in Soho, and honestly I could make a whole entire video on Last Night in Soho because there's just so much about it. There's like so much to be criticized, but then it's also like, I feel like it did what it needed to, accomplished its goal, but should that have been the goal in the first place? I was like, who directed this? And I was like, Edgar Wright. And I'm like, what else has he made? And I'd heard of Baby Driver. It was like, oh my god, he directed Last Night in Soho. And I was like, I love Last Night in Soho. And then I watched Shaun of the Dead. And I watched Shaun of the Dead. And then I was like, oh my god, I'm in love with David, who plays David. And then I was like, Dylan Moran. And then I watched the entirety of Black Books. I went back and then I was like, oh my god, let me watch World's End. And World's End was good. And then I watched Hot Fuzz and I loved Hot Fuzz. And then I listened to the last song and I was like, oh my god, what is this? Caught by the Fuzz. And I listened to Supergrass. And Supergrass is adjacent to Pulp. And then from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, I developed an attraction to a character that I don't think was meant to be attractive, but to me is the finest man I've ever laid my eyes on in my entire life. My friends go, girl, you can do better. I don't care. I'd pick this white man. You guys love Timothée Chalamet. I'd pick him over him any day. Oh, Channing Tatum, Harry Styles, throw them out the door. This man is my husband. We're married, we're engaged. My ring isn't on because I was washing the dishes for him. I got to the end, I saw Gideon Graves turn his head and I was like, I want him to turn me over. I know he's a bad person. He didn't mean any of it. He apologized. And this is the thing, do something wrong and you apologize and people still hate on you and they still come for you and they still want your career to be over. And just because Gideon sent 7 people to attack Scott because he was dating Ramona, he said sorry. When he chipped Ramona, that was a prank. He was pranking you guys. It was a prank. I love Gideon. I was like, who plays Gideon? And I need to pull up, wait, why am I acting like I need to pull up Jason Schwartzman's filmography? Like I don't know it by heart. I looked up Jason Schwartzman and I think the first time I saw him, I was like, oh. Honestly, when I watch movies and I think a character's attractive a lot of the time, I will go and look up the actor not in that, and then I'll be like, oh, they're just not like giving what I thought they would in real life. Like I watched Peacemaker and I loved Adrian Chase, and I looked up Frasier, I'm like blonde and he doesn't have glasses in real life, and I was like, oh, because you know I love all of my white men with dark hair and glasses. Normally he doesn't look how he does as Gideon. Like having watched 16 other movies with him in it, he doesn't normally look like that. The closest would literally be Max Fisher and Rushmore. He hasn't really been rocking like the glasses kind of look like normally. Like he's normally got the short hair, and in his picture, what the fuck is wrong with Google? When I look up these people, they look so bad. They do it to everyone. They pick the worst photo of them and they put that as, no, that's not the one. It's like a specific picture. Can you see that? That is the worst photograph I've seen of Jason Schwartzman in my entire life. You guys are sick and twisted. And then you go and you actually look at them and it's like, oh, you actually like don't normally look like that. They're twisted in the head and they're sick in the head. They're sick in the head. Sorry, I looked him up. I'm sorry, I looked it up and I started noticing that it's literally in his about right here. It says Schwartzman made his film debut in Wes Anderson's 1998 film Rushmore and has gone on to appear in 7 other Anderson films, The Darjeeling Limited, yeah. I was like, what the fuck? Who the fuck is Wes Anderson? And I was like, why is he in the Grand Budapest Hotel and The French Dispatch? Because I didn't know they were directed by the same person. That started my Wes Anderson obsession. We'll go down the Jason Schwartzman rabbit hole one day. I hate like knowing things about celebrities because it feels like gross. Like I feel disgusting. I'm like, I don't even know you. Why do I know all this shit about you? I like was walking down the street and I knew everything about a random person. I'd be freaked out. I'd be like, I'm a creep. It's kind of an accident because like I just love watching stuff that he's in. Back to Wes Anderson. One night, me and my friend stayed up and we made 100 whispers because we think with all of our inside jokes because we think we're funny. Like I'll put it right here. Like this is the type of shit we were making. So I was on Pinterest, saw a picture of this man and he looks like Brandon Hagen from Wunderbar. Who's this? And I clicked on it and it said his name was Jarvis Cocker. And obviously that's funny. Your name's Jarvis, right? That's funny by itself. And then your last name is Cocker. Like that's hilarious. I kept in the back and I looked him up and I was like, oh yeah, like he's kind of eating. Ooh. But like it didn't go anywhere. I don't know, I think my friend watched The First Dispatch before me. She sends me a link to Aline and I'm like, ooh, by Jarvis Cocker. I'm like, oh, this is the silly guy. I was like, I didn't even know he was associated with Wes Anderson movies. I listened to it in love. Listened to Dance Bishable and Contact and what's the other one? Paran Pahan. I'm pronouncing all this wrong. I knew he was in a band at some point. I was like, okay. I think I listened to Common People. I don't know how because I was like, oh, this is mid. By the way, I first listened to Pulp and I was like, this shit is kind of mid. But I wasn't paying attention because I think I was on my way to work. So I was like probably thinking about how I don't want to go to work. I listened to Babies and I was like, this is pretty good. Like I was like, this is pretty good. So I'm gonna add it to my playlist. And I started listening to it over and over again. And it was like, it's like with each listen, I love that song more than I did before. Usually you start to get tired of songs the more you listen to them. I literally gain like love and appreciation for Babies the more that I listen to it. With all of that, I really liked Babies. So I decided, okay, let me go to the album. Because usually when I like one song, I will go and listen to the whole album. And I listened to Joyriders and then I listened to Lip Gloss. I really like Joyriders, Lip Gloss, I was like, it's fine. That was my canon event. Listening to Acrylic Afternoons was my canon event. I was on my way to church. So I listened to His and Hers on my way there and on my way back. And that was my first time I'd done that. And I was like, oh. So I listened to it. Kind of chilling, looking out the window, just like passively listening. And then I start hearing these visceral noises. And I'm like, is this real? Go back and I'm like, why is Jarvis Cocker whimpering on the track? And I started thinking to myself and I'm like, I like this. This was before I was there for the chorus. I'm gonna be honest, I was there for the wrong reasons. I listened to that song like 28 times the week. I have like earbuds and it told me I listened to that song like 28 times. Like 40 something. He's too old for you guys. He's 47. You guys are sick. And I'd never like a man who's 30 years older than me. Sick and twisted. That's so sick and twisted to be into someone who's 30 years older than you. Jarvis Cocker, speaking of him, because was supposed to be about Pulp. He's 60 now. He's 60! Is he too old for me now? Okay, good night.
Who's got a tougher security, your security team or Danielle Rodoli's?
You don't need to ask dumbass questions. Can I ask you a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Why your mama make you so ugly?